Good evening, wherever in the world you are. I am in Luang Prabang, Laos. I just arrived yesterday from Tibet. I was in Tibet and Yunnan, China for 15 days because we had to cross the border in Nepal, and every day we were riding for 15 days to get to Laos. But I did get to see a lot of Tibet, so that was very nice. Beautiful country. It was always my dream to visit Tibet, so I've realized that dream. Okay, so I don't see anybody here yet. I don't know if anybody's gonna come online, but it doesn't matter because I'll just discuss this on my own. So the discussion today is going to be about the I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, Imane Khelif saga. So for those who don't know, Imane Khelif is a Algerian boxer, and she just won, I think, the welterweight boxing match, well, championship at the Olympic Games, the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. So she is from Algeria, and there was a big controversy concerning her because for, I think, the last two or one boxing matches, she was not allowed to compete because she is female, but she failed the gender test. So I don't know what gender testing they did, because I've been trying to look online, but I can't see any gender testing or any talk about this gender testing that they did. So I don't know if they did, if it was a chromosomal test, where they check whether you are XXXY, whether it also involved testosterone levels, bone density, muscle mass, things like that, things that separate men from women, or male from female, or biological factors that determines your sex. So I don't know, I don't see any article about that, about what testing they did, but she was disqualified from that particular boxing match because she did not pass the female gender test. Now again, there is so much hype about her. I've been trying to find proper articles, but everything is so woke these days. People are so afraid to talk about this. So I don't even know whether she has, whether she's suffering from DSD. So DSD is differences or disorder of sex development. So just to get it straight, she is not transgender. Okay? She does not identify as transgender, because transgenderism, there's two types, well, as far as I know. There is the one where where it's sex is binary, so there's only male and female. And then there are some people who suffer from gender dysphoria, which is a mental condition that makes them feel that they are in the wrong sex. Like example, it could be a male, but he feels, because of this mental condition called gender dysphoria, that he is female. And the other way around, it could be female who feels she is male. That's the only two ways it goes. It goes male to female, female to male. That's what gender dysphoria is, and that's what transgender means in that case. In the other case, it would be people like me and other people who identify as trans, just because although you are one sex, but you don't stereotypically follow the norms of your said sex. Okay, there's now also this thing, and apparently I'm one of those because I don't, my lifestyle does not follow my sex. Anyway, I wouldn't know about that. I just always thought I was a tomboy, but now I heard I'm trans. Anyway, that's another story. Now she is not none of that, as far as I know, because I don't see it written anywhere. But I do know that people are speculating that she could be suffering from DSD. So, okay, differences or disorder of sex development. So this is a biological anomaly. It is a genetic defect. And yes, I'm using the word defect because, sorry, that's just what it is. It's genes that are defective. And in this case, it will be the sex gene, which is the 23rd, you know, because you have 23, so the 46th gene. Because normally you have XX if you're female or XY if you're male. But some people have XY and then 46, or they have XXY or XYY. There'll be all kinds of different mutations of the actual gene because the gene is defective. Now, what this means is it doesn't mean you are another sex. Sorry to burst some people's bubbles. It doesn't mean there's another sex. It just means you are either a defective male or you are a defective female. That's all that it is. Okay? Now, I know a few people who have some of these kind of conditions. You have Sweyers, you have Klinefelters, you have AIS. What's the other one? There's a few. Anyway, doesn't matter who I know. The thing is, there's so many different ways of the genes being defective or mutating. So it will, from person to person, it will differ. Okay? Now, like I say, I don't know whether she has DSD. I don't know. But I think she probably does, because when I look at her, to me, she looks like a man. Okay? She really looks like a man. She moves like a man. Her gait is like a man. Everything about her is like a man. There's absolutely nothing feminine about her. Nothing. When I look at her. Of course, what is going on inside her body, I don't know, because I looked online. There is nothing where they say that they have genetically tested her. Or they say they have genetically tested her, but they are not saying what is wrong with her. It's just like zip. They just said she failed the gender test. That's all they said. She failed the gender test. So, like I said before, I don't know what test they did. If it was just chromosomal, if it was bone density, muscle mass, brain size, because there's many things, pelvis, shape of pelvis, shape of skull, because these are all the different femur, length of bone, because these are all the things that can determine whether you are male or female. It is always used in forensic anthropology. These are the ways that they can look at the skeleton and decide whether it's male or female. Okay? So I don't know whether they did all that. They're not saying. Anyway, so the big controversy is that some people think, or they say that she has XY chromosomes, which means XY is normally male. Of course, when you have DSD, it can also mean that you have male and female body parts. So biologically, you could have both. But again, like I said before, with testing, they can also determine whether you have more male body parts or more female. And when I say body parts, that means bone density, brain size, pelvic structure, things like that, okay? So, and because we're talking about sports, now, sports has categories. They have female category, and then there's a male category. And then in some of the sports, they even have weight categories. And the reason for this is so that it is fair and it is also safe. Now, especially she is a boxer. So it is very important that the athletes in this category must be treated fairly and also safely, because you know, boxing, people die, people can kill each other. That's why you don't see a welterweight in the boxing ring with a heavyweight. That doesn't happen. They have to be within the weight category, okay? So in boxing there is definitely weight category and there is definitely sex category, because you cannot put a man and a woman in the same match, in the same ring, because it's very unsafe for the woman. Okay, as much as the feminists want to say, oh, we are equal. No, 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 no. When you do all the testing, the biological testing on the human body, you will find that men and women are not the same. Okay? Right. And no amount of wokeness is going to change that. That's just fact. Okay? So I got into a lot of trouble from both sides because I gave my opinion on whether people like her should be allowed to participate as women. So this is what I said. I said, first of all, the sports organizers, they have to be firm. They have to once and for all make a firm decision. And we're not talking about trans people, okay? Trans people, definitely male is male, female is female. Doesn't matter how much surgery you've done and what you think you are. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people DSD. Okay, these are people with biological anomalies. And I'm not talking about Michael Phelps, who has, what is this, something with the M? What I can't remember what it is. Anyway, because at the end of the day, whatever he has, he still competes as a man. I'm talking about the categories of sex. Okay? The sex female and the sex male. I'm not talking about other things that you might have that might give you an advantage. Because in humans, some are always going to be more advantaged than others. That's why I cannot be in a beauty pageant, because I'm disadvantaged. I don't have the height. It doesn't mean I'm not a woman. It just means I'm a woman, but I cannot compete in that category because there is a height restriction. There is also an age restriction, so I cannot compete. Okay? So it should, but I'm talking about sex categories, okay? Not other things, just when it comes to male and female. So I think that the sports organizers, and I don't know why they don't do it, because I don't know if they have no brains. I don't know. Brains are not functioning. I don't know what is going on. But they can be firm. And they can just say straight out. There are two categories. There's going to be a category for XX human beings and a category for XY human beings. And anyone who does not fall within an XX category or XY category cannot compete. Harsh, but that would be fair. Because then they could have a third category for those XXY, XY, whatever people. Because even if you're XY 46, you can still compete because you're XY. So you can still compete in the XY category. But you cannot compete in XX because there's a Y there. That's the first thing I think they can do. Is just be very firm. XX, XY, everybody else, different category. They can do that. But if there is an issue with that, what they can do also is then anyone who is like XY46 or any of these other Swires syndrome and Klinefelters and all that, they can then go into the next level. So first you look at the chromosomes, then you go into bone density. So bone density, muscle mass, testosterone levels, skull, hips, pelvis, length of femur. They can have ratio for that. Like example, for muscle mass, in order to compete in the X category, your muscle mass must be within here and here. Like your weight, here and here. Bone density, this is the ratio. It has to fit within there. Femur cannot be longer than that because a woman's femur is only like a certain length. It won't be longer. It's very rare. Okay. Skull, brain size, because there's also difference between brain size between men and women. So skull, brain size, shape of the pelvis, because a woman's pelvis is different from a man's pelvis. And then if you are this kind of person who are both sexes, they can see maybe you have 4 male characteristics and only 2 female, so that means you are male. So you have to compete with the XY people. If you have 6 female characteristics and 1 male, then you go with a female, because then it's just fair for everybody. This is what I would do. Of course, when I proposed this online, I got called a TERF, which doesn't make sense, because TERF has got to do with trans people, not people with DSD, because DSD is a biological anomaly. It's a physical defect. It's like being Oscar Pistorius. Okay, he's handicapped. He's physically challenged. It's a physical anomaly. Okay, so I don't know where that came from, but or I have no empathy for people with this condition. This is sports. Sports is the most perfect human beings will be participating. Okay? It's a competition of the best, of perfection. That's what it is. It has always been that, and it will always be that. There's no time for wokeness and for... No. That's why we have the Paralympics, so that they can also be represented. And that's why there was a big thing when Oscar Pistorius put on his blades and he wanted to run with the able people, because he was not doing the right thing. He was cheating because he's using like something mechanical to run against someone who is using only their human body. It's like, example, I'm only 5'4". I can also wear prosthetics and then be in the Miss Universe competition, so that I can be 5'10" or 5'11". Why not? Because it's not allowed. It's not allowed. It has to be me in my most perfect human form. Okay, but then that's why I say the sports authorities and committee, they just have to be firm. I don't know why they're not firm about this. There's nothing wrong in saying only XX people in this category, only XY people in this category, everybody else in this category. Like, I cannot I cannot participate in the Paralympics because I'm an able-bodied person. Although I might feel I'm not able because I'm only 5'4". It doesn't mean I'm disabled. Okay? Because I don't fall in the category of disabled. Yes, compared to let me think who's this. I don't know who the latest sprinter is, the fastest woman in the world at the moment. But compared to her, I am disabled because she can run maybe in 9 seconds, the 100 meters. I can't. I can run it in 12 seconds, so I'm kind of disabled. But that doesn't mean I can go and take part in the Paralympics. It doesn't work like that. So they can do the same thing. Just be very clear about the categories. Then no one is upset. The other suggestion that I would have is, in the event that they go all woke and no, everybody has to be included, you know, she's a woman, she feels she's a woman, she was raised as a woman, her passport says she's a woman, although she doesn't look like a woman, she doesn't even move like a woman, there's nothing feminine about her. Even if she was feminine, she's just not a woman, whatever. Then my suggestion is to those female athletes, if you have an issue with it, then do not participate in the event. Stop being complicit. If you don't want to compete against such a person, then don't. Just don't. So I also got a lot of backlash for this, because then now I'm told, yeah, you don't stand up for women. Now you want women, they work so hard, and now they must throw their hard work away. You just want them to be in the kitchen. No. I want women to stop being little damsels in distress and to stand up for themselves. If you don't like something, do not participate in it. If it's a boxing match and this Imane Khelif is your opponent, then you can say, I don't want to box. Then I'd rather just don't participate, because I refuse to box against a man if you feel that she's a man. Pointless going and boxing and losing and then want to whine about it later. Whine about it after the fact. That doesn't make sense. Why would you want to whine about it after the fact? You act before or you act during. You say no. Like, what's his name? Novak. What's his surname? The tennis player during COVID, when they wanted him to be vaccinated. He said, no, I don't want to. They said, well, then you can't play. Then he was like, okay, that's fine. He didn't throw away his career. He just took a stand. He just said, no, I refuse to get vaccinated. And it doesn't matter. Well, this 2 years I won't participate. It's as simple as that. Because what will happen is there'll be 12 sprinters. One is DSD. 9 will decide, I don't want to run against this person. Then there'll be 3 people running. Eventually, there'll only be that person running, only the DSD person running. Then eventually, the sports committee is going to have to look into it. Because you must also know, this is only happening in female sports, not in male. You don't hear this happening in male sports. Because these kind of people will never want to participate against males, because they don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance. They want to beat women. And in this case, they want to literally beat women. And women are complicit in it because they keep participating. Just stop participating in that particular event. If this person is in 100 meters, you don't compete. If they're not in the 200 meters, you run the 200 meters. You run the 200, the 400, whatever. Just don't run in the race that they are in, or don't participate in the event that they are. That's all. It's very simple. Simple. Nobody has to get all their panties up in little knots. It's very simple. And it's not putting women back. No. And I'm not saying go back to the kitchen and throw your career. No, I'm just saying you also have to decide. Because that's what men would do. Men would do that. They would just look like Novak. Exactly. He was just like, I don't care. I'm just not participating. It's not a big deal to me. So he didn't participate. Not a big deal to him. He didn't give up his career just for that 2 years. He just didn't take part in those kind of events where the way it was required, the vaccine certificate was required. That's all. Because he's a man. Men make decisions. So women must learn to do that as well. Stand up for yourself. If you don't like it, then don't participate. Don't whine. just shut up and stop. So irritating. Okay. So anyway, if you, I think I did, yeah. I've linked the Facebook group if you want to look for the notes on what I've spoken about today. You can go and look there. I was hoping there'll be people online, but I don't see anyone here. I don't see anybody chatting. Maybe there are people chatting. I don't know where. I saw 2 people come up and then they disappeared. Where's the chat? I don't see. Where do I look for the chat? I don't know where the chat is. Okay, let me try to look on here. There's a chat here. Yeah, I don't see anybody chatting with me. Yeah, so what I wanted to do is, because if people were chatting, if there were people here, I would have been able to use, because you know they would be asking questions, so I would have been able to, well, like now I'm using critical reasoning to come to a conclusion. Okay, so the critical reasoning being the committee has to put down their foot, or women have to do their part, you know, so that's critical reasoning. And then biology, I've given a little bit because there's nobody here, but if there were people, I would have given a little bit more. So the biology part would be, you have to go read up on what DSD is. Like I said, DSD is basically, that's why it's called, it used to be called a disorder in sex development, but you know, people get some about the word disorder, but that's what it is, which again is English comprehension. I said we will use English comprehension. DSD is just a disorder of sex development, which means something happened while you were in your mother's stomach and your genes didn't develop properly. It's like people that have Down syndrome, or like the one that, the condition that Michael Phelps has is, I think it's number 15 chromosome is affected. I know my French child has number 10 issue, chromosome number 10 issue. So it affects development. Okay, so it's a genetic defect. And then social media etiquette, if there was people talking to me, I would have been able to go through that, because sometimes the way people talk on social media is quite rude, or it's just not the way it is. Anyway, let me not waste anyone's time anymore. So I can't thank anybody because nobody showed up. But anyway, have a nice day, and cheers.